Can I do a full switch here? And this is actually why I asked the full question. So when I typed this out, I remember thinking, you know, I was driving around looking at these big houses that I want one day. And I was thinking all the actions that me and my homies have made. Because I was looking at these houses, I'm like, I'll get that one for my mom. Zane would like that one. That one's for the boys. We're going to be in there scheming the whole time. So what I was thinking, like, our parents' opinions matter a lot, right? And like you were saying, we're influenced by our parents' opinions. So how can we just quickly say no to certain things? But at the same time, I was thinking how we got to this point now and how we did a lot of the things that we're doing is by not doing what my mom told me to do. My mom would give me the opposite advice, and I used to not be able to understand it. So I remember thinking as a kid, I'm like, man, mom knows absolutely nothing.
Sorry, I'm just laughing because it's like people are going to be like, moral of the story is don't listen to mom and dad.
No, because I think the part for me was, why is it like I know what I'm trying to do, they don't even know what I'm trying to do. For example, rapping, for example, media, for example, taking a path that's not nowhere near related what they saw us doing, aka engineering, business, or anything of that sort, being a doctor. So when I asked that question, I think I had a hard time growing up because I did value my mom's opinion a lot, right? And every time I wanted to do the opposite, a part of me would feel hurt and broken because I'm like, I know I can do this, but my mom's scared and she's like, don't do this, right? And giving me the opposite advice. So I think when I worded that question, it was more along the lines of that. And at a certain point, I realized that your mom can love you to the fullest and still not have the right advice for you fully in certain aspects. But that's more so from their nature of protection, nurturing nature, and trying to make us feel comfortable where we're doing stuff that makes us uncomfortable, that forces us to grow.
I'm really glad you said that, bro, because it reminded me of a conversation I had with my therapist that I'm never going to forget. I'm never, ever going to forget. It's based off advice. When someone gives you advice, and I feel like this truthfully includes your parents, and you don't take it, and if they end up feeling upset that you didn't take their advice, they guilt trip you, they might make you feel some type of way, parents or anybody, then I'm going to tell you right now, they didn't give you advice. They tried to dictate the direction of where your life should go. So I see what you mean, man, because I even, if growing up more so, if I didn't follow my parents' advice, like I'd feel guilty, whether they knew about it or not. But I think as we get into adulthood, and now we're growing, our brain's developing, we're getting experience, we're traveling, we're getting educated, we're having jobs, we're meeting other mentors. We're now shape-shifting who we're really becoming. And our parents, yes, they saw it all along the way, but maybe there's certain aspects of our journey, whether they know or not, or they should or shouldn't, that we then ultimately have the final say and deserve to have it.
I'm going to just bring it to my own scenario where when I was getting into the media game and the rapping, you know, my dad didn't understand it. My family's super conservative, Muslim. They don't do these things. They're not in the spotlight or whatever, the media. They don't understand it, right? So the only thing they understood was you got to go through school, you got to go through university, and that is the pathway to success. I wanted to be great at basketball. I wanted to be great at rapping. I wanted to do videos, and I wanted to make these creative things. And I would hear it a lot from my dad. First year university, every day I would come home. I went to Concordia for my first year, not U of A. And so Concordia is a smaller school, unknown. I'd come home, dad would be like, how's high school again? Because, your marks aren't good enough to get into the U of A.
That's a heavy poke.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it was like every day. And for a long time, I really hated my father because of that. But it got me to a point where I started pushing myself beyond the capabilities that I thought I had. Once I started gaining some momentum in the paths that my parents didn't understand, and I could show them. When I purchased my house 5 years ago, I took my dad out and I went and I drove to the house. I said, I just bought this house over here. Here are the keys. And I just want to let you know that everything you did was because of this house is accredited to you. I had to show him that. I had to take him to my office back when I used to work for the marketing agency and say, look, all this video stuff that I did isn't for waste. All the times I spent, all the late nights when I was in the basement alone, doing all the things and editing and buying lights and cameras and stuff, it wasn't for nothing. I have an office now, Dad. Look. So I had to show him to get him out of his lens, because his lens was, what the fuck is my son doing? He's being a weirdo downstairs, rapping and making videos and doing funny skits on YouTube. My son is going off the path. So in his mind, he needs to do anything and everything he can to bring me back to his normal path of success. But the moment I started showing him, hey, look, this is working for me. I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm not going to be an engineer. I'm not going to be that school son that you expected me to be. But I promise you I'm going to be a success, and I won't let you down.
Let your kid chase their dream, right? Let them fail. Let them try and see how they end up doing, right? Because depending on however much your father was on that direction or not, ultimately, if he wanted to fully stop you, perhaps he could have. He didn't. He felt some type of way about it from what it seemed. You still went about it, which I'm so glad you did, because I truly believe, brother, you wouldn't even be sitting here today. He was probably, of course, not probably, so damn proud of you to make a house out of something that you took from, he looked at like a video camera capturing memories, to you making money off that shit. Like, that's you proving to so many of our audience members that if they're in that same situation, hey, Dad, if Qashus did it, I want to try too. That's exactly why you know who I'm talking about, someone very close to us. I had the balls to tell him, you know what, man, whether your parents know or not, if you think school is not right for you right now and you're 18 years old, just, you know what, you don't have to tell them, but go all in on this love that you have for personal training. Go all in on this love that you have for video. Give it a try. Heck, just do one course. Do one course in school, just to satisfy them at the least. Say you're still in school, but go all in, man. Don't waste your time, because this juice and energy you have is only there for so long until you start to get salty about it. And then you go, I could have, I would have, I this or I that.
Our parents had completely different lives, and you've touched on this many times before. But I think like just living and growing up here now, all of us face different challenges. And I think at the point where you just want something that challenges them. For example, like if it's not basketball, I would ask my son, okay, well, what else are you going to do if it's not basketball? If it's just sitting around doing nothing, then I'll force my kid to do basketball, because there's going to be plenty of times where you're going to choose to do nothing and feel your feelings more than use your actions to dictate your feelings and learn how to control your feelings. Because I think everything in this life and planet is kind of designed in a way where you got to understand how to micromanage and manage at a grand scale your feelings in public and in private. And I think a lot of like our problems derive from not being able to manage those feelings. So I think if it was sports or whatever it may be, like you said, go all in. But I think a lot of kids nowadays have a lot of trouble going all in. It's almost sounds, there's so many different pathways and industries created in these last like 5-10 years, right? Where that just weren't created. So as a kid, you see it, you're like, you know, that looks nice, but sometimes that might fool them to be like, that looks fantastic. Maybe I want to try this. So maybe I would say, like, especially growing up, I would force my kid to try something, whether they liked it or not, maybe for a period of time. And then after that, they can decide. I'm not going to force them to stay in basketball if they don't like basketball. They can do piano. They can do many different things. For my younger brother, Zane, he's a complete genius in my eyes. In fact, I look up to him. And a lot of the times, even with him, in order for me to teach him, I had to do a lot of those things myself to lead by example, because I couldn't just say it to say it. But then just seeing his hard work and what he creates, it's almost like you're watching a movie and you have no idea what's going to happen next, but you know it's going to be something amazing. So when you can get it to the point where you're able to just work really hard and have like a process where you understand it's not going to be easy, but you still have to do it, then ultimately like the kid's going to win. And I think sports, whether it be jiu-jitsu, whether it be rapping, whether it be anything, I would argue rapping helped you in life and jiu-jitsu helped you in life and basketball helped me in life to be able to get to the point where we're able to hold ourselves in a certain manner just simply by putting in those reps of doing one thing. I think it's more my job to be able to show that different lens. I think my mom's job is to provide her with provide Zane with the softness like to be a good human, because I think how I operate in this day and age, I feel like I'm genuine. I might say things bluntly, but at least Kenny's laughing because I'm like, you fucking bitches. Right?
I love that. I was waiting for that. That's how Khurram makes me feel, bro. Just like anytime you flex, I just think of Khurram, bro. It's the best.
No, I think that side, just like rapping, just like everything else, our mothers provide us with the kindness and doing things in a certain way. But then we have to get our killer mentality somewhere. You became your alter ego, Qashus.
Word, that's what I was thinking. Alter ego. We all got it, bro.
Yeah, basketball has allowed me to do that, and that's why I say you fucking bitch when I want to call you a bitch.
Fucking a bitches.
Fucking bitches.
Fucking bitch.
But at the end of the day, like those are just the environments I grew up in. I grew up in YMCA's where people are telling me that I'm trash, or I'm like, brown guys shouldn't play basketball, and all these things that I'm not gonna be like, you're a mean guy, bro. I'm not gonna hang around you. Obviously, I'm gonna call him a bitch. It's almost like you got to learn how to stick up for yourself. But that's where those alter egos get formed. Like, I think if you are able to put in a certain amount of practice and reps in certain things, then you form that alter ego. But without those reps and just by jumping thing to thing, you're never gonna form like that identity of yourself that's you, but a different version of you.
You know, talking about my father, like, he fueled Qashus. He was the one that forced me into that killer mentality. When you're at a school and I was like, I'm gonna take a year off, and then he's like, fuck no, well, you're not taking no year off, you're going to school. And so I didn't have time to apply to the U of A or Grand McEwen. So guess what? I'm in Concordia, smaller private institution, nothing wrong with it. But in his mind, if it ain't U of A, you're in high school again. You're upgrading. You're not as good enough of so-and-so's kid. So-and-so's kid is at the U of A. He's doing this. He's doing that. What are you doing back in high school again? Oh, man, did that. He knew how to, of course, I'm his kid, so he knows how to pull my strings. But that hurt like a lot. Like, it hurt, man, coming home and hearing that. Because I'm like, man, I'm just as good as that kid. I feel like I'm better than that kid. At the time, I didn't understand that he was trying to force me into a better place. I hated him for that. I hated him for many years for that. During my university career, I was like, man, I don't like this guy. I don't like this. But I got into the U of A. I got a biology degree. I started doing things that I was like, you know what? If I can do this, if I can get to the U of A and literally will myself into a science degree and get it, I'm not the smartest kid. This doesn't come easy to me. I want to rap and I want to make videos and I want to do these cool things that are coming out into the new age. And I really want to write music. How do I do it? I can't do it under the identity of Omid, because Omid ain't that guy. Qashus is. This other alter ego is. I literally had to mentally separate Omid and Qashus. And the reason was because Qashus is a blank canvas. Qashus is who the fuck I want to be. I want to get to Qashus. I want to be that motherfucker who's confident in every room I get into. I want to be respected in every room I go into. I want people to be like, yeah, this motherfucker chased his dreams and he accomplished the shit he said. But I can't do that because Omid's that scared young brown kid who's afraid to make decisions, who's trying to get self-validation from his dad, who's trying to make everybody else happy, who's trying to be quiet and behind the scenes, trying to get that science degree when he knows that this path isn't for him, but he's listening to his parents. He's doing the things that are supposed to be right in society. So I had to build a different identity for myself, and that identity was Qashus.
That's why, bro, tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., we're going to the Federal Canada office. We're changing your passport name to Qashus Canary, bro. And we're going to show your dad.
Qashus,
we're going to
okay,
say, you created him. You created Omid and you created this guy.
You know,
that makes sense.
No, of course. I love that. It's so true. Dude, everything that you just said. Wow.
I think this is why me and Omid relate so well together too, is because I haven't shared much about my dad.
I'm only laughing because then there's my dad.
I know.
I was like, but God will tell you everything.
Bro. Omen.
What do you want to do it? God will tell you.
Yo.
Just sit down, chop it up, just relax.
And this is the thing.
Such a difference.
Bro, sometimes, Kenny, me and Omen would sometimes be in your fucking house, right? Observing shit happen and be like, bro, does this shit happen in your house? Like, shit doesn't happen in my house. Does it happen in yours? And he was like, no, bro, this is the same shit. So
Love it.
My dad was the same where he you know what's funny? I didn't think about this till now, but I can remember the exact time. It was like midday. I remember we were sitting in the main living room. My dad said the same thing to me. He's like, "Oh, you're still playing basketball? So you're you're still in high school, right?" He's like, "You're in grade 12 now." And my mom, I remember the look my mom gave my dad. Like, did he lose his mind? But it got me thinking all these things. He used to say all the time, like, "Oh, you're going to basketball practice. You better be home by 10. If you're not home by 10, then you're grounded. You're all this stuff, right?" I'm like, I have practice till 10. How am I gonna get home? Used to threaten me to, like, I genuinely believed I was going to move back home to Pakistan to go to all boys boarding school for many years. And every time shit would hit the fan or I would do something that they might have not liked, then it would revert back to that. So I remember my first year, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a fucking scholarship to play somewhere and they'll have no control over me. And I'm not going to pick somewhere in Edmonton. I'm going to go away from Edmonton. And that drove me, like, all those feelings ended up driving me to be like, you know what? I'm going to show you guys. I love you guys, but I'm going to show you that I can actually do things by myself. And if you push me far enough, I'll go far enough where you have no control. You can't check up on me. You can't do nothing. Right. And that's a part of the reason why I went away at the start. But then same thing. I think like in retrospect, I look back and I think how much it fueled me. I think a lot of the reason why I kept on going and why I do what I do now, because I used to hear this all the time. Bro, what brown guy do you see in the NBA? Like, why are you still trying to play ball? Bro, like, why are you doing so-and-so? Like, just stop playing basketball so much. It's not going to do anything. Why are you doing this with videos now? What's going to happen out of this? So eventually, a big reason why, which I've not yet stated, why I run a basketball academy is because I didn't have a brown guy to look up to be like, you know what? He works really hard. He does so-and-so. He does this and that. I want to be able to, I see him doing it. Maybe there are more brown guys. And honestly, I think there's a whole era of brown guys now. Now it's a lot more common where you see a lot more brown guys playing ball. But it's still nice at the end of the day, for me, especially when I run my academy, is like brown kids come up and they're like, oh, I wasn't expecting a brown guy, a Desi guy, right? And then I was like, get down, bro. Like, get your little ass changed. I'm about to get to work, right? And it's a fun thing. But I see, like, parents actually come to me, especially with the brown kids, and they say they're depressed, they play video games, they're not doing so-and-so. And just something as simple of learning how to do something and enjoying doing it is like what changes their whole life around. So that's a big reason why I do it. But I think it all stemmed from my dad pushing me in certain ways. Me, every single time I made a video, my mom would be like, oh, but like this part's messed up. None of it was ever good enough. Even now, there's always a problem before there's like, oh, you know, good job, you did good. It's always like, oh, well, what about this? What about that? All the negatives first. So I think in its own way, it drove me to perfection because whatever I thought was really good was definitely not good enough. And then like to be able to do it further, even now, like how I run ITD Academy every single day, it's not good enough. Right. But to a lot of people from the outside looking in, like, bro, you're doing full time. And 5 years ago, I'd probably be dreaming of the spot. And I sometimes take that into just being a little bit more grateful, you know? And that's why I pray a lot more now. Because if you can't be grateful without praying. Because if you never pray for it, it's hard to feel that feeling of being grateful. So now I try to pray a little bit more so I can feel the feeling of grateful later. But when I think back to like everything that I'm doing, it drives a big factor is my dad still somewhere in his mind. He's like, you know, you might have slipped with a few cracks, but I don't know if this is it. Right. And even if he thought it was it, I think he would still say that. And I think that little bit of understanding that they're trying to push you further versus trying to bring you down after a certain point. Because at the start, it's going to feel a lot like they're trying to bring you down, which they rightfully should when I look back. Because if not, you're going to be a fucking scrub doing the most average shit and think it's the shit, right? So like it's obviously going to drive you further. And I think the years of building yourself up and actually having results to show for slowly eases them off little by little. And that's just as much your hard work as it is them chilling out.
For me, Kenny, you are in a unique position, right? Because you come from a different background, right?
Oh, man.
You have an older brother. You're the second sibling.
Bro, sun,
right?
you know, little bit pani, water.
And technically, from my perspective, you didn't have the hard ass dad that would grind your gears about everything.
True.
Right? So my question to you is, where did you find your relentless fuel that you have? Because you're one of those guys, to me, I'm always inspired by you and what you do, right? On a day-to-day, on a week-to-week basis, when I see you working and hustling and doing your thing, it inspires me to keep, pushing. So, I mean, I haven't said that.
Words of affirmation.
Yeah.
This guy's love language is words of affirmation.
So to motivate
I love you, bro.
I love you too, bro.
For sure. But I mean, like, for me, it's like, I need, like Khurram said, if my dad didn't push me like that, I wouldn't be here. I'd be at home. I'd be playing video games. I'd probably be 250 pounds. Guarantee you, I wouldn't do the things that I do today. I wouldn't run the way I run. But for you, in my head, you should have been the video gamer, the kid that doesn't do shit, right? Like, because you didn't have the yeah. We're calling everybody out.
We are, bro. Yo, say his name.
Yeah. But so my question to you is like,
Come, KB, no problem. Aja. Bichara. He's like, what
up, KB?
Come. That's no problem. We're talking about motivation. But he's like, oh, of course. No, but come.
Come.
Sure?
Yeah,
Yeah,
come
of
sit.
course.
Come sit.
Come, chill, chill.
Oh, fuck, man.
Welcome to the studio, bro. We got ourselves new guests.
We have a new guest. We have a new Pokemon.
This is good because I can't wait. Carry on.
So yeah.
For KB to hear this.
So I want to know, where did you get that relentless, like, passion, drive, grind? Because you didn't have that same upbringing as us, man. Because I needed my ass kicked. I needed that someone to kick my ass to get me here, and to get under my skin and to push the shit out of me and make me, feel some type of way so that I would move. Because if I didn't have that, I'd be chilling at home. I'd be relaxing. I wouldn't do nothing. I wouldn't make no business. Why do I need no business, bro? Why do I need to do podcasting? Why do I need these things? I don't have no chip on my shoulder. So I want to know from you, where do you get that?
My fellow university students, my professors, my friends growing up, my people I'd be around, they'd always tell me something, and I'll never, ever, ever forget it. And it's what honestly keeps me going. Is they always said, Kenny, I'm looking you up in the future, and I can't wait to find out what you end up doing. Or they go, you're somebody that I'm very excited to see what you do with your life. It was always something along the lines of people telling me like, yo, man, like, whatever you do, whatever you become, like, I want in on it. I want to see what it's like. I want to buy into your product, your service, whatever you do. So like, that was my pressure, because I would hear that, and I'll be very honest with you, as a kid, and even going into college, I'd hear that. Even when I graduated, I heard that. I'll never forget it, bro. I'll never forget who said it too. It was the last dance. It was like we all graduated, we all had dinner, and someone said that, and I was like, that's the cherry on top. Where it fueled me to be like, if you fuck this up and don't make anything of your life when everyone since you were a kid wanted to see what you'd turn into, then you wasted this potential. So I always looked at like, I have everything. I've got all the ingredients, a supportive family, parents, brother. I've got like everything I ever need on a silver platter to become whoever it is I desire. And I can't and I won't waste that.
That's interesting, because people that have that are usually the opposite.
Yeah, no,
well, not
right.
usually. I'm not sure. I shouldn't make generalities, but when you have everything, Why do you need more?
And
right?
this is, again, this third one I wanted to share, not to say that's cliche, but like, I feel like it's my duty to do even more or just as much as my parents did for themselves, their parents, and me and my brother. Like, for them to turn like literally $50 in their pocket the moment they got married and come to this country and have dreams and ambitions themselves, and then raise us and have to fully pivot and work 3 jobs each, and then forego their dreams of wanting to become doctor and engineer, and like raise us with nothing. Like, I think about that and how much they sacrificed, and I'm like, okay, so now since I grew up, I just got everything handed to me. So I'm like, how can I not? Like, if they were able to do that from nothing, how can I not do that from like the most strongest foundation? That if you can't grow a beautiful, tall, strong tree out of that, then once again, wasted potential.
KB, you want to comment?
I mean,
Or what's KB's?
What's KB's? I want to know what's KB's motivation.
it's like, it's kind of along the line of Kenny, but like you can't appreciate the sun unless you've never seen the rain. So
Yeah.
like seeing my parents have to work really, really hard, and seeing them like have to go through hard times. I was kind of telling Kenny this yesterday. I was like, I remember when Mom had me in like the buggy at the grocery store, right? That you can stick your legs out. And I remember she was taking me through the cereal aisle, and I went to reach for a bowl. You guys remember Mickey Mouse had like a Lucky Charms kind of thing? And it was like $7.99 for a fucking little box. Yeah. I wanted that cereal, and then my mom told me no, and then I started crying, and I reached for it again. She said, no, I can't have it, because she couldn't afford it. And then I remember seeing my mom crying, realizing like she couldn't like afford getting her kid's favorite cereal. And so like, things like that, like, growing up, fuck, our parents they just gave us stuff. Like, they just gave us the laser share card sometimes, and said like, if you guys need food, you use it. And then a piece of me just never forgot that, though. Like, I never forgot. I got to see life, what it was like when my parents were really poor, and what they had to do to get to where they're at now, to give us the opportunity. And then I also now got to see where they're at now with like the success that they have. And then it's like Kenny said, it's like an almost added pressure to be like, we did this with this, so let's see what you can do. And it's interesting because the dichotomy of like, my parents did it because they had to do it. Like, necessity is the mother of invention. So if they didn't do it, then their 2 kids and their family would have been fucked. Like, so that needing to survive, that needing to make something of yourself, you can't, it's very hard to replicate that. So it's admirable, I think, when I see like Kenny have the kind of drive that he has.
Oh, dude, I love that, man. I kind of relate to the cereal story, but I remember my parents would, during the day, like after school, they would pick me up, and we would go to my cousin's place. This is after my dad sponsored 3 families, like 3 of our, basically his sisters, 3 sisters, families, and this was like that was probably their first 3 or 4 years when they were here in Canada. But we would go to their apartment, and their apartment, for their rent, their utilities were included. And so every day or every few days, we would go to my aunt's house or my aunt's apartment, and my dad would give me these water jugs and milk cartons, and with bags and stuff. And I would go in to my aunt's place, and I would go into the tub, and I would fill hot water. And when I was a kid, I didn't understand what we were doing. I thought this was normal. You go, you fill 7 or 8 jugs of hot water. I would take it, we put it in the van, and we'd go back home. And when I grew up, I realized, I was like, holy fuck, they couldn't afford hot water. So we would go to my aunt's house here in Canada, in St. Albert. We would go to Phil. I would go, and I thought it was normal. I thought it was this is what you do. You just fill hot water. It doesn't, like, I don't understand bills. I don't understand those things, but we would do that, and we did that for many years. And now I look back and I'm like, holy fuck, they couldn't afford that.
Damn, man, I feel bad about the hot shower I just took now.
But it was the shit, like you said, bro, the shit that they had to do, and they made it out of that. I got no fucking excuse, bro. That's the chip that I hold. The chip that I hold is I want to make them proud. If I'm gonna take this video shit, if I'm gonna make this podcast, it better be the best motherfucking podcast here, because I got the opportunity to sit in this. I got the opportunity to buy this furniture. I got the opportunity to put these lights up and put the video up to hang out with you guys. I have the privilege to sit here today because of their struggles, because of the days of the hot water, because of the days of the cereal. You know what I'm saying? So I carry that. But I was very interested in how you carry that, Kenny, because, you know, obviously you had it just maybe a little bit better, but the fuel, like, or different. I wouldn't say maybe better in a sense, but you had it different. So I wanted to know that. So appreciate you sharing.
Man, yeah, thank you for asking that. And I hope that for anyone listening that feels like they are taking advantage of their parents' success, I hope that turns things around for you, and that not letting that be an excuse, right? Like, you can't let, like, oh, I'm driving around my parents' Benzo and I'm in their 5,500 square foot home. I'm comfy. I'm chilling. You know, I'll go sneak around the back. Yo, Blaze, all good. Gucci guy, yo. Right? Oh, I'll go travel here and there. Yo, on my parents' dime. No, fuck that shit, man. You know, man up. Fuck. You know, you're 18, 19. You keep saying you're in your mid-20s now. You're working a dead-end job, fucking part-time, doing fuck all. Right? You're still waiting. Man, you got too comfy.
Bro, say their name. Yeah. Say their fucking name.
No, but it's like you got too damn comfortable.
Who you talking about, bro?
Like, turn your basement into your
Patreon.
Yeah, bro. No, turn your basement into your fucking man cave operation. Not a place where you sneak girls downstairs, right? Like, none of that, bro. That's it. No, but like some bande, bro.
Turn it into a podcast, bro.
Let's just be for real. Some bande, all they do is they're just taking advantage, bro. I'm gonna call you out for whoever's listening to this, because you're listening to this Elevate Your Life, so you might be like this, right? So what KB said, right? Like, listen, I'm gonna be honest. I turned my parents' basement into my podcast studio and where I train personal training clients and have my at-home dojo in, right? But like, you gotta, like Omid says, turn shit into sugar, baby. That's right? Or turn mansion into profit mansion. I'm Airbnb with my own activities, bro. It's Air Podcast. You know, but
you know, all of these stories are fantastic, but I'd say like one of the the consistent factors amongst all of us, and I think what also unites us, because I'm trying to figure out, is it the brown in us, the fob in us that unites us? But partly how we move and how we operate is we've felt a lot of pressure, right? Whether it be from family, whether it be from like indirectly or directly. So I think even making moves and taking risks, I was thinking about this as you were sharing your story. You bought that C100, right? You don't know how the fuck to use it. You don't know what to how to make money off of it. But you bought it because you knew, you felt that pressure, you could turn shit into sugar. And I think a lot of the things that we do now, like this stuff, it's easier for me now, like buying this couch with you guys, is because I've felt enough pressure now where I know that maybe this is a form of pressure.
That's a towards accountability, right? Like, you know what? You buy gym membership, you buy trainer, and okay, now I have to show up. You buy couch, now I have to sit on it, right? I have to go and get my money's worth, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, as soon as you say couch, now I'm thinking, this is Brave Blue or like what?
Bro, legit, Brave Blue, baby. Man, it's like what Frank Saguchi said, and that's what it reminded me of. I don't know if it brought you back, but our accounting instructor, this was accounting for me. This is all you need to learn about accounting is, I love how Frank Saguchi said it. He's like, listen. He's our like university year 2 accounting professor. This is accounting, guys. Who here is a gym membership? Everyone raises their hands, right? Okay. Now, who here has It's laughing. Who here, okay, has used their gym membership? It's February 17th. It's been 17 days this month, okay? Who here has used... Listen. Who here has used their gym this month only one time? And then, so funny, right? 3 people are like, me, right? Okay, so you 3, how much is your gym membership? And then one person's like $38.99. Another person's like $43. It sucks. Where do you get your gym from? Oh, Fit for Less. Okay, I gotta go there. Anyway, side banter aside, Frank goes, okay, guys, bring it back. So you have paid $38.99 for your workout. Okay? Now, who here has worked out 10 times? 5 people put their hand up, right? Me and KB are like, yeah. Okay, you have paid $388 for each workout. Now, he's basically saying, however much you use the product, you divide that by how much you have spent, and then you get your benefit from using it. But if you only use it once, then you're... Yes, cost per use. Thank you. That is cost per use. And, you know, I was balancing the liabilities with the assets. I'm sorry, but accounting is so easy but so hard. You know what I do, bro? I'd have my balance sheet, right? Every time I would not get it balanced, bro. Like, it's supposed to
Kenny's
equal
adding in
the
shit.
same number. I'm like, they're going to audit me. I'm finished. Right? My parents would be like, what can you do our accounts? Like, you know, they start asking, like, can you? I'm like, no, I can't. We'll be arrested. Like, yeah, bro. But that's Frank Saguchi, bro.
Wow, bro.
Okay. That's what he'd say, right? But anyways, you guys have anything else left to say?
It's a good podcast.
This was fire, man. This was good.
Bro, I want to give a special shout out to my guy Qashus for rocking the ITD merch. In the details, we used to be in the dark, but we switched that to our hose, and we kept the training highly detailed.
Let's keep elevating, boys. You know, all I'm going to say is we got a lot out of this episode. Everything from how to full switch your mother, how to full switch. Yeah, bro, we got deep. We talked about how you can best keep and really hone in on the relationship between your significant other, pati, wife, and your in-laws, the full mix. We hope if there's anything that you got out of this, you share it, you send it to your mother-in-law, and you also you perhaps have a conversation. You have a conversation with your significant other, hopefully in a safe space. You know, go to coffee, you know, get your notebooks out, brainstorm how you're going to make it all work. And we got to get to know everyone. KB is going to come here and there, right? He's going to be like the Guillermo of our new season. No, we'll keep him coming, you know. But we hope you like this episode, Second Floor Podcast. You know where to find us, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, everywhere, you know. So it would mean a lot to us if you like, subscribed, reviewed. You could catch us on the Universal Radio Network every Friday on the Full Switch program. And that's a wrap. You guys have anything else left to say?
That's it.
That's it. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. It's 11:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Timing is 5 p.m. somewhere. So you know what? This podcast is sponsored by Athletic Greens. No, I'm joking. It's not. I hear Athletic Greens all the time.
We ain't there yet, bro.
I hear it, bro, and I'm waiting, bro. I emailed Athletic Greens like 5 times. I'm like, I know your guys' marketing strategy. Come on, Second Floor. So fuck Athletic Greens, bro. It's all about mud water, bro. Get your mud water. Yo, I'm telling you, if you're trying to quit coffee, this is actually, mud water's not paying me to say this, but if you're trying to quit coffee and you're trying to get... You're trying to get rid of the jitters. KB and I are hopping on the mud water. That's MUDWTR, mudwater.com. Get yourself some mud and you'll feel the difference. I'm just going to let it speak for itself. Many people go in my DMs like, dude, is that legit? Dude, are they actually proprioception mushrooms, dude? And I'm like, no. They're not. They are not psychedelic by any means. But I'm telling you, bro, outside of that, they're actual healthy mushrooms. There's some good product and spices in it. And if you can clearly see without me on the coffee that I am acting this way, it's worth it.
Bro, you're not even sponsored by him?
I'm sending these videos as practice, showing them how dope our sponsors would be, bro. So if you do want to sponsor us, holla. We're at, the second floor pod on IG. Definitely check us out. So that's it. That's a wrap.